the Silent Vigil. Every evening, just before the household began its slow descent into quiet, Lucas found himself pacing the edges of his apartment. The city lights outside blurred through the window pane, casting a soft, restless glow over the room. The clock ticked louder than usual, or so it seemed, as he neared the moment that had become almost sacred to him, the ritual of connecting his phone to the charger. It wasn't always like this. Not long ago, the glow of the screen before bed was just another small pleasure, a moment of idle scrolling or brief chit-chat. But now that moment had taken on a different weight. His hands trembled slightly as he pulled the charger from the socket, eyes darting to the screen to see the familiar battery icon beginning its slow climb upward. Invisible to anyone else, an invisible tether held him in place each night. The need to ensure that tiny bar of power filled completely, that the phone breathed life steadily and deeply through the night. There was comfort in this act, a silent promise that everything was under control, that nothing vital would be lost to dark silence come morning. But sometimes, just sometimes, the worry gnawed at the edges of his mind. What if he forgot? What if, by some strange accident or careless moment, the charger was never plugged in at all? The thought whispered in the silence. No call, no message, no navigation. A day disconnected, adrift. This fear bloomed slowly at first, seated by one restless morning when Lucas awoke with the muttered disappointment of a dead screen. He had been so tired the night before, collapsing onto the couch without the usual ritual. The phone, drained and silent, felt like a lost friend, unreachable and inert. That single night stayed with him, sharpening his routine and tightening his grip on the nightly charge ritual. Now, even after plugging it in, his eyes often stayed fixed on the glowing percentage. The slow crawl from 20 to 80 to 100 was a fragile thread tying his night together. If the line faltered, if the number stopped counting up, his heart jumped into a sudden clutch of panic. Sleep came slowly and warily. He imagined waking to an empty screen, a silent void where connection and knowledge should be. The morning was no longer a fresh start, but an anxious test of whether the night's promise held true. Every beep and buzz around him, every vibration of a passerby's phone on the street outside, was a reminder of what could be lost. Even his dreams shifted. They twisted into fragmented images of searching for power sockets that vanished, cables that slipped from his grasp, notifications that blinked endlessly but refused to open. This recurring nightmare echoed the waking dread. At work, no matter the tasks or deadlines, his fingers reached subconsciously towards the pocket where the phone usually rested, a tether to the outside world. When it vibrated or glowed, relief flooded through him, a small victory against the silence. And yet, the fear did not relent. It whispered that it was only a matter of time before the ritual broke, before sleep pulled him under too quickly or forgetfulness claimed him as one of its few victims. A single misstep could shatter the sense of safety the night's charge had woven. Friends noticed the difference. The way he double-checked his bag before leaving, the slight twitch at the mention of low battery. They teased gently, but Lucas knew their light-hearted words did not erase the chasm his worry had carved. His apartment was dotted with reminders now, stickers near outlets, alarms on his phone, a checklist by the bedside table. Each served as a fragile defense against that creeping void. One night, after a particularly exhausting day, Lucas found himself pressed beneath blankets, staring at the dark ceiling. His phone lay across the room, disconnected. Slowly, his muscles began to relax. The ritual was incomplete, the charge never initiated, yet this time, something within him softened. The tension loosened just enough to admit another truth. The world, his world, would not collapse because of one night's dark screen. Morning arrived, dappling the walls with soft light. His phone lay silent, but for once, the absence didn't feel like an abyss. He reached for it, feeling the cool, inactive metal in his hand. And even though it would say 0% and refused to wake, he breathed a little easier. Because some nights, he realized, it was okay not to be tethered, to rest even without the glow.